Stop channeling. We are in a really important time in history of the Great Awakening, and it's super important that you stop channeling or you become really, really aware of what you are channeling. So stay tuned. I want to give you the protocol so that you are not breached by something that is a very low vibration that's going to take you down and have an agenda for you that you're not going to like. Hey guys, this is Rebecca. We are remembering our greatness together, and part of your greatness is the downloads that come from Source for you, by you, through you. So guess what? You don't really need to channel anymore. You are a sovereign source of information from the highest frequency of you. So why would you channel anything else? So what am I talking about? We are at a time in the Great Awakening that it is extremely important to create a very sovereign, direct connection to yourself at source energy. Okay, we are at a time in history where the earth is at a certain position to receive a lot of high frequency vibration. And so at this point in time, and the people on the planet are waking up. It's called the Great Awakening. There are other beings and vibrations and dimensions that realize this. For whatever reason, they don't want humans to wake up, okay? Or they want them to wake up to a certain level. They don't want them to wake up to the full realization of what's really happening and what their real capabilities are. So there are fallen angelics, low vibing entities. There are fourth dimensional ETs. There are basically a lot of lower frequency energies that have their own agenda and that are masking themselves as higher frequencies. And they're coming in to the field of activated, expanded light workers. How can we prevent this? This is not to be fear-driven at all, okay? There's nothing really to fear, because if you are really aware and making your sovereign connection directly to source energy, then there's nothing to fear. But it's really important that you know what is coming through. Is it a download from source, or is it a channel from another entity? Could be Palladians, could be any other name of an ascended master or angelic realm. They could be coming in saying they're those things, but they're not. So right now, it's really not that safe to channel. It's really hard to discern at this moment who you are talking to because of all the oppositional forces that want something else for humanity. So if you really are guided to awaken and ascend, what you want to do is, before you go into any like meditation or download situation, you want to say, I am tuning in to myself at source, sanctioned by me at source, by me, through me, as me. And that is the only energy that I would like to commune with. So basically, when you set that up, before you even get out of bed, say that. And before you even go into a meditation, say that. When we are in a meditative state, that's when we start expanding, and that's when we are these like beacons of light. We're the lighthouses, right? For high frequency, but also lower frequencies. The lower frequencies see that and they're just like, we got to shut this down. They're rising too high. We don't want them to have that information. So we don't really want to work with, and in Reiki we called it second heaven. Second heaven entities are just lower frequency entities. They still have agenda, they still have ego. Okay, And when we rise into, in Reiki, we called it third heaven, and then there it keeps going up. And it's kind of analogous to dimensions. All right. So when you reach these higher dimensions, it's more free will, no agenda, egoless, the polarity decreases. So that's where we want to be filling ourselves up from. And that's the information we want to be filling ourselves up from. So please, if you are a channel, really tune in. Is what you are channeling benevolent to you? Does it have your highest consciousness in mind? Or does it just have the consciousness to this level? And then there's a glass ceiling. That's really, really important, guys, because in this time of history, the earth is really like, I want to do this. I want to go to fifth and seventh dimensions, and I want the people on the planet to come with me. So right now, there's a huge collective consciousness in 3D, the third dimension reality, okay? And what's happening right now is that over here in fifth dimension reality, that collective consciousness is a little smaller. We want to fill this up bigger and kind of squeeze this one down. All right, there is a lot of second heaven or like fourth dimensional entities and frequencies that don't want to see the earth do that. They don't want humanity to go from that third dimension to the fifth dimension bubble or collective. So, or even higher. And so that's the thing, guys. There's no glass ceiling. You know, when you are connecting right into source, you have a sovereign connection to source, and you have a straight direct connection to your full ascension at the highest frequency and dimensional realities that are possible and ever expanding. So, you know, the earth, here's earth, and then we have these dimensional layers. Right now, there is a 12 dimension locked grid around here, around our earth. And so that's a glass ceiling. Okay, so what you can do by really connecting in sovereignly to source and asking for your highest consciousness is you can start to go through that 12th dimensional locked grid, that glass ceiling. But you have to choose it and you have to work on it every day. You need to ask for the support sanctioned at source by you to help you to do that. So a lot of us are going into meditation and asking for support, and then we get all these things coming at us, telling us about support, telling us all these downloads. Well, guys, it's confusing because we think it's our higher self. And it could even be an aspect of ourself, but at a lower frequency or at a different dimension. What we really want to be tuning into right now at this time in history, it's super important to connect with ourselves sovereignly at source, connecting with our highest consciousness at source, for us, by us, as us. All right. So just if you say that, you will totally be aligned with your highest self and your highest ascension and not hit that glass ceiling. And you won't be communing anymore with other entities that are disguising themselves as light beings, but have a certain agenda for capping at the fourth dimension, or maybe capping at the sixth or seventh dimension. But the thing is, guys, we can go higher. Our evolution is to go higher, is to go into full ascension past the 12th dimensional grid. So please stop channeling. You do not need that being coming through you. You have everything you need right here, right now, with your sovereign connection to your God source. So why would you need any other entity talking through you? Because they don't have a body and they have an agenda. So, beautiful people, stay true, stay authentically you, and know what you know, and trust that you have something to say too. It doesn't have to be some disembodied entity coming through you to talk to you. You actually have the knowing. So trust what you know, Trust the downloads that are coming through you, for you, by you, as you, sanctioned at source. Okay? So beautiful, people. Do you channel? Are you a channel? And if you are, tune in. What is it serving anymore? Is it a vibrational match? Have you grown vibrational past that, but you feel like you can't move past that? So it's time to set. So if you are channeling and you're like, you know what? This is ringing true with me. So now what? So now basically what you do is just cut your ties from that being that you're channeling. Cut them, okay? Ask them to leave your body so you can go, entities, who and what are you? Who and what were you before that? Who and what will you be in the future? And you just run that until you can feel the energy of them leaving. And then you say, all the magnetic imprinting that they've left in my body, I clear and cut. And you get that out of there. And then, so the next time you really want to have a download and share and get to know what your new mission is, basically, just sit in meditation. Okay. Ask to connect with yourself sovereignly, as yourself, for yourself, through yourself, at source and no other energy. And then you can put in a little protection. You could just put in like imagine a dodecahedron or a big bubble around you, and then put a hole in the bottom to ground yourself into your light body down at the 18 inches below your feet. It's called the Omega chakra. So just ground into that, and you can keep a hole in the top just to feel like you are connecting to source. Okay, do that when you're meditating. And then when you say, oh, okay, is there anything that I can know right now? Is there anything you want me to pass on by you, as you, through you? And then you just write, and then you see. And the thing is, guys, through this great awakening, what people are realizing is that they're waking up to the fact that they know. They actually don't have to reach out to someone else to know. So that's kind of what a channeled message is, right? Is to, give information to people that are like, oh, but what we're trying to do on the planet right now is to empower people to know what they know with their sovereign connection to source, which means that they don't have to keep waiting for the next channel. They're not dependent on the person channeling, okay? You know. You are ever knowing. Trust that. You have yourself at source. You have yourself here at source. Okay, connect the dots. All right, you have yourself as an ascended master through source, as source. So connect with your highest consciousness, sanctioned at source. And you can also download stuff like, it feels almost like a channel, but it's going to be you. It's also called, another name for that is called data streaming, that you're just bringing down data from your future self, your future ascended self. So to recap, guys, please use awareness right now. All right. Use awareness when you are channeling. And actually, really, I would recommend that you stop channeling and you tune in to just downloads or data streaming of yourself at source. Any questions with that? This is not to be fear-driven or anything, but if you sit down in meditation and connect with yourself, sanctioned at source, you may sit here and be like, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, it's time to let go of the channeled stuff and come into my sovereignty. And that is what the Great Awakening is about. And we're trying to do this as quick as possible because the earth is going to shift out of the position it's in. And those high frequency waves will start to shift away from the earth, and humans will start to go asleep again. And we'll have to wait a whole nother trajectory. They say it's 26,000 years to come back to this space of another great awakening. So let's do it now. We don't have to wait that long. The thing is, guys, if you are channeling, if you are working under falling angelics or entities, spiritual guides that are still in fourth dimension, That's okay. There's no right or wrong or good or bad. But if you know in your deepest heart of hearts that you are here to awaken and ascend and that this is the lifetime to do it, it's time to stop channeling and get sovereign with your connection with Source and trust yourself and your own knowing and not someone else's. That's that. All right, beautiful people. If you have some questions about this or you would like some support kind of transitioning out of channeling and trusting yourself more, I am here for you. I can do a 30-minute free discovery call. I also have a 6-week program to kind of get you back on your feet and get you trusting yourself and helping you on your ascension path here. So, beautiful people, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the High Vibe Tribe. Namaste.